Welcome to the Interviews Podcast.
Prima attenzione, Bobo anticipato, palla vagante, mette giù, recoba, il tiro,
Welcome, Interisti, to episode 162 of the Interviews Podcast, the official podcast of SempreInter.com. We are here for the post-match reaction of a tough game in Sardinia. 2-0 to the visitors against Cagliari. Goals from Lautaro Martinez back on the score sheet, back in the team in the 9th minute. And Francesco Pio Esposito off the mark. His first goal in Serie A for Inter in the 82nd minute. As always, I'm one half of your co-hosting duo, Alessandro Rafa, joined here by Gianni Paterno. Gianni, I'm going to read you a tweet from a very handsome, very intelligent person. I don't know who this is, but they tweeted something that I think was very sage, and I want to get your reaction to it. After the game, they tweeted, "Some will be disappointed with this performance. Cagliari are going to take a lot of points off of teams that visit this season. They beat you up, and you have to give credit to them for making it tough. Here's one thing I know for sure. A team grows much more from getting a win in a game like this than they ever do when there's open spaces everywhere and it's a blowout. This is a continued step in the right direction, and I'm really happy with the fight." Your reaction, your thoughts?
I mean, I think it's really well said. Who did tweet that? Now I want to know who this sage, wise person was. Was that you? Did you tweet that yourself? Oh God, bro. You know what? That comment sucks. I don't even like it. Oh gosh, yeah, you got me. Well played. Well played. No, but I would agree. You know, I mean, if you look at the way Cagliari played Napoli this season, and you know, you can make a case that Cagliari probably deserved at least a point from that match.
At least.
The way that we were able to, you know, handle Cagliari this matchup, even away. Not that, I mean, I know we haven't struggled there in the past, but they're not an easy team to go up against, and to do it in a manner where really, if you think about it, aside from hitting the post, that was really the only threatening attack they had. So I felt pretty comfortable with it. There was no moments where I felt like, oh man, they're gonna get like a goal here and make it a game. Like, there was none of that. So yeah, very happy with the performance, and yeah, can't wait to dive into this.
These are tougher games, arguably, than when the big six, the big seven come up against each other. These teams, like, they just don't give you any space, and they also, like, it's the ultimate shithousing where they come at you into duels at 100%. If, you know, the ref calls a foul on Inter, they throw their hands up and act like, you know, how could that possibly be a foul? And then when you go into a duel, they throw themselves on the ground. It's just like a very stop-start, tough, no available spaces, you know, grind it out kind of game on a tough pitch. Like you said, historically, it's not been difficult to win there for us. But I think Cagliari are going to be a real tough out for a lot of teams this season. So this is a really good win. 9 points for Inter on the season. Obviously, we still have Milan and Napoli to play, but let me just check here on the Serie A standings. As things stand, Inter in 5th with 9 points, tied with a bunch of other teams, and they're 2 points behind Juventus with 11, and Napoli has 12. They've won all their games. So, you know, difficult start in those first 3 matches, but these are the kind of games that get you back into it. I think this is the kind of game that other opposing coaches will look at and say, you know, they get a little bit more scared of Inter if they can, you know, pull off wins like this and get through, again, a nervy finish to the game. So we're going to kick it off a little differently. We're going to start with the speak pipes because Johnny made a very poignant inference that a lot of the questions that come in, you know, given how comprehensive, you know, the co-hosts of the Interviews podcast are, we end up talking about a lot of the stuff before we get to your question. So let's kick it off with our boy, your boy, Gino Panino with the speak pipe.
result for Inter. Away points are always necessary, especially with the table the way it is. Hopefully Milan and Napoli can play to a draw and match each other. And Inter's back in the top 5, which is good. Now we move forward on Tuesday, hoping for 3 more points in the Champions League. Looks like Chivu's got the boys rolling. I wanted to know if you guys are surprised by any of the changes in the starting 11 today. I thought Henrique looked good. Pio coming off the bench, scoring his first for us in Serie A is huge. Good for his confidence and good for us. We move on. Forza Inter, Gino Panino from Vancouver.
Gino Panino, very sage words. There's a couple things there that we definitely should dive into. I think, the first thing, let's start with this lineup. The day before, Sky puts out that good old Darmian is starting. People lose their minds a little bit. I get it because, I'm not a proponent of Darmian starting in 2025, but obviously it seems like the lineups that come out early, they're not really accurate. And I wonder if last season, where the lineups were always accurate, if there might have been a little leak, a little mole, someone within the organization getting into good favor with the media outlets by leaking.
Maybe Faris.
Maybe Faris. Maybe he was,
interesting.
gunning for his own job one day. So
interesting.
Makes you wonder. It makes you wonder. That lineup didn't come to pass. Johnny, we said Pep would be getting a start in one of these upcoming Serie A games with the Champions League sandwich midweek. Were you surprised that this was the game that he got to start 2 straight in Serie A?
Yeah, a little surprised that he was the one, given the start. Okay with it. I would much rather him be the guy getting these games going forward, of course. But yeah, I think we kind of thought that it was going to go Sommer this one and then Champions League for Pep. Maybe it's going to be the other way around. Maybe Sommer is going to be our UCL keeper, and Pep's going to be the guy leading the line in the Serie A, which isn't ideal. I think you still want your number one to feel like he is the number one, not to feel like he's in a 1A 1B situation. Yeah. Sometimes it is a little bit difficult to get into a groove, but so far it hasn't seemed to have been a problem. So I am going to trust Chivu with this, and I think that he will have the right players in the right places, for at least in net. And I'm happy. I'm happy with the performance. I thought that he didn't have much to do, but I thought comfortable with him back there as well. So
yeah, I think him not having much to do, their biggest chance was Foloruncho off the post. He dove well to get down to it in case it did come inside. But he was, he was decent with what he was given to do. The distribution, a lot of the long balls, they end up, hitting an Inter striker, and then that striker immediately gets fouled. So it's tough to really see the fruits of that distribution play itself out. But I thought he commanded the area well, and things look good. Another point of discussion for the starting lineup, Acerbi gets to start against Sassuolo. Someone thought that we were shitting on Acerbi the last episode, when in reality we were just saying that I had the best performance from a center back for Inter this season, and maybe he should get more minutes moving forward. That manifested itself in today's game. Devray gets to start. Were you surprised? Talk to me about how he performed back there today.
No, not surprised at all. I mean, the guy's been a solid defender for us. I think he's always had more good games than poor, and I don't know why you would think we're taking a shot at Acerbi. The guy has just looked slow and not. It's expected. He's 37 years old. He's not going to be the player we had in the UCL final pocketing Haaland anymore. Like it's just not going to be the case as the years go by. So I think that he's been the better center back so far this season. I think that he's the guy that you should continue to roll with. Maybe if you want to give him a rest in the Champions League and let Acerbi get that one, fine. Mm-hmm. But I think that Devray should be the guy. I think this back three should be the back three in the league, no matter who we're going up against. I like it a lot as well. I thought this was Akanji's best game. I thought he was very solid, timed his tackles good, knew when to move up and be able to fill space there. He had a pass that he played to Thuram that was just out of reach in the first half that I thought could have been a good opportunity on goal had it been just a little a little less strong on that pass, but
And
other
in
than
the second half, he also
in the
set
second half as
Thuram
well.
up. Yep.
Yeah, so and it's funny, like people were upset they didn't think that he was going to be as good as Pavard was, and we both said that his range of passing would be better than Pavard, and so far you're seeing that. So excited with that back three for sure, and I hope that it, like I said, it's the one that we continue to move forward with, at least in the league.
I think defensively, it's the best one.
For
Those
sure.
three. If you think about the other options, putting Bisek in there, I think drops your defensive solidity. And then I just think De Vrij is a safer defender than Acerbi. De Vrij played a few balls forward today too that came off. So this would be my shut it down backline without question. Luis Enrique gets the start at right wing back. I had said that he's a rhythm player, needs his touches to get into it. Same with Zielinski and potentially Sucic as well. Definitely looked like that early on, like that foul, that throw in that I threw it, but the ball stayed right in the air. That was interesting. Maybe a little early game jitters, but how did you think he did in his first start for Inter? Gave Dumfries a good rest here heading into Champions League midweek.
Yeah, I thought he did pretty good. I think you're right. Like, he does need to be able to get into a rhythm and to feel comfortable out there. I wish he had more adventurous runs going forward. I feel like that's such a strength. Apparently a strength. I haven't seen it yet at Inter, but when you hear about what he was doing at Marseille or even look into it, he did have more marauding runs down the wing. Maybe that's more so a tactical thing by Chivu to kind of limit him being exposed on the back and having to worry about having to always track back and stuff. I think once he does get comfortable with the league and his teammates, maybe that'll be something where he'll be able to shine a little bit more. But good, solid performance. Nothing that was like, oh man, this guy's terrible. I want Dumfries out there. I think that he'll be a good guy to be in the rotation, and I'm glad to see that he's coming good so far.
Mkhitaryan over Sucic. The last lineup that I saw prior to the official one that came out was Sucic in there instead of Mkhitaryan. Mkhitaryan gets in there. I thought Henrik was decent today. I really didn't like him hitting the post at the end of the game, just because just place it, get the 3-0, and end the game there. One of the few opportunities that we had clear on goal. We had several, but I thought that was a little bit annoying. But he gets 90 minutes here. If Sucic starts the next game, gets 90, and we have basically a game-to-game rotation between Mkhitaryan and Sucic, is that closer to what you're looking for, or do you think Mkhitaryan needs to be like a full-time bench player and it's Sucic on the left of the Mezzala and Mickey has to be competing with Zielinski for minutes off the bench?
Yeah. Look, I'm gonna try not to bash Mickey. I wasn't a fan of him today. The shots that the one he skied and then the one that he hit the post with, just wasn't thrilled with it. I thought there was a lot of times where he just looked slow out there. Now I see that he did a good job winning ground duels and although I didn't really notice them, but maybe that's because I am a little jaded by him, so maybe I highlight more the negative than I do the good. But I will say it was disappointing that that shot that could have made it 3-0. I don't know if you saw the report, but he ended up killing a man.
No.
With how wide that shot went and how bad it was.
That's bad.
Yeah, that poor kid now is, he lost his dono during this match. But all kidding aside, it was like tough to watch in that. Yes, he should have placed it. And I feel like that if he would have scored there, I would have been like, all right, you know what? I'll shut up. I won't even say anything, but he went for power. which sometimes it does call for that. Sometimes, if you want to beat the goalie near post, you do have to go power over placement there. But I thought he had the space to bring it back on his right foot, go wide, and curl it on the far
I
post.
thought Caprile was falling to his left. Like, he could have just dinked it around.
He probably could have. He could have. But what I was saying is I understand the thought process with wanting to go for power near post as opposed to placement. But yeah, I still would rather see Sucic. Obviously, I'm a big fan of his. I want to see him get more minutes. I want to see him, when he comes on, he provides assists. And I want him to get his first goal as well. And I just feel like that he is a more complete player. And look, I've liked Mkhitaryan when he's come off the bench. He's been a little lively. He's been able to do more, in my opinion, when he comes off the bench. But hey, whatever reason he wanted to rest Sucic, yeah, I want him. I feel like he's going to be more important for us going forward than Mkhitaryan is, and I feel like you need to ride your horses when you have them available to you.
At home against Slavia next up, I'm expecting Sucic to get the start. What do you think?
I feel like that's a game where you do a full rotation in your midfield. Maybe you go Zielinski as the regista and then Sucic and Fratesi as the mezzals. Although Fratesi didn't do anything today either, so I don't know if I'd even want to give him the minute. But I think you have to rest Barella. You have to rest Hakan. These are guys that are going to be important for the longevity of the season. And if you have the opportunity to rotate them, you do it. Obviously, if it's 0-0 in the 65th minute, and nothing's working with this midfield, then maybe you look at bringing on those guys to try to get the points. But yeah, I would say fully rotate. Zielinski has looked good as well, so it's why is he not getting more minutes? And yeah, I hope that that is the case. At least for the Slavia game.
Lautaro comes back into the team off of the back injury, gets things rolling for us in the 9th minute. Bastoni cross, he has it into the back of the net. He was grabbing at his back several times throughout the game. He was getting fouled a lot. I don't think he really had much space to show his usual quality, but Lautaro, at the end of the match, he's sprinting full speed. He's the only one.
I was going to say that.
Yeah, bringing the lineup, when Caprile has the ball at his feet. So I've got nothing but respect for the fight that he's showing, nursing an injury. If he is really nursing that injury, then, I don't know that 89 minutes was a great idea to give him. But what'd you think of Toro today?
No, I think this is the best performance he's put in all season. I mean, I feel like I've said that a few times between him and Akanji now, but this is, yeah, he looked complete. He looked to be active, not just in the attacking phase, but also in the build-up. I thought that his movement off the ball was great. He, like you said, quick. That was the fastest I've seen him sprint in I don't know how long, to be quite honest. Maybe since the final against Man City, to be honest. Last year, he looked like he was, carrying some extra lbs or stones, as they say in England. But he looked great today. I mean, we saw what he's eating, so there's no excuses as to why he wouldn't be running full speed. But yeah, I was thrilled with the performance, and for when we were worrying about having both our strikers performing at the same time, it was nice to see that they were both clicking. Although Thuram may have looked, a little selfish today, but sometimes that doesn't bother me either. I want my forwards to be selfish and have that killer instinct. And I thought that he was still trying to ping it around, when they were playing tight in little triangles there, when it would be, maybe Hakan, Thuram, Martinez, and they were just pinging it off one another and trying to find half. I'm okay with it. It's not like he was completely selfish. So the guy's been scoring goals for us as well, Marcus, that is. So to have both of these guys playing at this level right now, it's going to be good for us because we're going to need them to continue to go forward and gain the ground that we are currently behind on Napoli with.
Yeah, Marcus, he had a good game. probably deserved a goal. Caprile made a great save, which
Great save. Yeah.
I had said before the game that the football gods were going to demand a Caprile masterclass today. And he made some good saves for sure. But it didn't come back to bite us. With Thuram, he obviously had that one moment where he skinned Mina alive there to put the tough shot on net. Did you think that Yeri Mina was getting under his skin a little bit? I think Mina is like shithouse personified in a person as a player. He would probably be my least favorite player to ever play. He's just like a dork. He just nips at your heels and then throws himself on the ground, looks for contact. So did you think he was getting in Marcus's head a little bit?
I think he was. I mean, if you look at the first half where that pass that Akanji played that just got a little long on him, Yedemina comes in and just throws a forearm right in his back. I think that from that moment on, it was kind of like, all right, I want to cook you. Like, I don't think that it was like I think that and maybe that's why he was a little selfish today, right? It's that he's like, I want to skin Mina and then dance on his grave when I'm done. But listen, it didn't really matter in the end, obviously, but if you want to talk about guy, like, I don't know, like he's up there, but Gianluca Mancini to me is like the guy. Like I would not blame any player on our team if they threw a punch at him the next time we play Roma. Like, I would not be upset. Take the red card, fine. Like, he deserves to get smacked in the mouth. But Mina is right there as well. And now that Theo's gone, that's one less annoyance out there. But these guys, like, that was probably like three of the worst in my opinion. Gatti's bad, yeah, but I don't know. I don't think he's at that level yet.
He's had moments against other teams, not necessarily us.
Yeah, I think he's more so scared. I think it's because he scored the own goal that he feels like he can't say anything right now. But yeah, Mina, I think that was like Thuram's point today, was to try to like just stick it to him any way he could, and unfortunately he wasn't able to get on the score sheet, but it's okay. We got another match against them,
So with Marcus, 90 against Juventus, 87 against Ajax, basically 90, and then 2 64-minute performances against Sassuolo and Cagliari. I thought when Boni came in, Boni was another one picking up the ball at midfield and then driving towards the box. I would be okay with Thuram getting a little bit of rest here before we head into the Cremonese is they showed against Como. They're another tough out. They're kind of like Cagliari, and then you have Napoli and Roma in the league. Good opportunity to rest Thuram against Slavia. It's at home. Let Boni get a full match worth of running at defenders and hopefully exposing them.
Yeah, I think that'd be the way to go. I think that if you give him the full, or at least the full debut, like as a starter, you'll have an opportunity to obviously see what he's able to bring. We've seen the impact that he could have off the bench, but now let's see it from the start. And it would be nice to see how that partnership looks with Lautaro. He hasn't really had a lot of time with him. So it would be cool. Normally when he comes on, like Pio's on with him. Now we get to have all three for a little bit here. But yeah, it was it'll be important, I think. You want to have all four of your guys having confidence, having the trust of the manager to be able to step in when they're called upon. And if you're able to give him minutes now against cream cheese, that'll be a good way to go for sure.
Speaking of the fourth member of this offensive department here, Francesco Pio Esposito comes in the 65th minute. I thought that was a really good move from Chivu there, because that situation of the game was calling for Cagliari was going to start, getting more aggressive, and we needed an outlet. We needed someone that we can ping the ball to, they can have it die at their foot and then get fouled, which is what he did. Palestra losing his mind after clearly hacking Pio down was pretty funny, but at the end of the game, 87th minute, Dimarco lashes the ball across the box and Pio puts it away. He's missed easier chances this year with the speed of the ball coming into the box, but he puts it away. Obviously, he loses his mind. Chivu also, Really, really enjoyed it. I'll pull a video up here in a second. But talk to me about this cameo from Pio, who's looking better and better every single time.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's funny. Like, a lot of people are saying that he's overhyped, and they're trying to say that he is not. I love the celebration was great. Like, that's going to be a great gif to use like later on. Yeah,
that's a meme.
But yeah, it's. I don't think he's being overhyped in Italy. I don't think that he's being, yes, they're talking about him in terms of the national team and hopefully like picking up the mantle of, what Vieri and Luca Toni were able to do as big strikers, tall, strong strikers. But he's been able to rise up to those moments when called upon. He's been able to make the most of it. Look at what he did in Serie A last year, winning, best player. That's not because like the media is like, oh, we just like him and we want him to be good. No, he performed, and he's performing well here as well. Like, if you look but early on when he came on, there was a hold-up play that he had right outside the 18 where I believe he laid it off to Mickey, who played it to Fratesi. He could have had a basketball assist, or a hockey assist there with a secondary one. Fratesi just had a hard time, being able to come on to the ball there. Like, it was kind of played quickly to him, but the way he was able to, I believe it was Mina who was on his back there and just out muscle him and then just like cast him aside like it was nothing and play the ball off. That's something that you just aren't able to teach, especially at a player at that age. Like, you have to have that instinctively, and Pio has it. And it's not that I wanted the Esposito trio to fail in any way, but like, he is clearly showing that he is miles above the other two, and that he is the best of the brothers. And I believe there's actually a fourth one who's even younger, but he is the best of the brothers so far. And I want to see him to continue to play and grow. And I love the player. I think that, it's not going to be long before he is a fan favorite. I think that he's going to continue to pot goals for us. And look, I'm happy if he's able to contribute, 10 to 12 in all comps, or, goal contribute. I'm not saying goals scored, but like goals and assists. I think that that's, a great output, especially of a player that age, stepping in at a club like Inter. So love the performance. There's really nothing else to say except that, I don't think there's anything that I can nitpick at in particular. Maybe he could have we could have crossed some balls into him more and try to have him get his, which was funny because we were trying to cross balls in aerially, but then when he came on, it's like we stopped trying that.
Doing that. Yeah.
It could have been a better game for him, but hey, still thrilled with the performance.
Yeah, the hate for him is super forced.
So forced.
It's like people like think we're trying to compare him to like Yildiz, and they're just different players. And I think Interisti are excited about a 20-year-old kid that looks to be far beyond his years in terms of his readiness level for this. And that's all it is. Like, it's just excitement about having, a young Italian academy product in the team that's able to contribute at a young age and could be here for a long time. That's what's exciting. But people have to make it about best prospects in the world, and it's just like,
yeah, it's so unnecessary. Like, look, I get you could have banter and stuff, and I hate Juve, but I could appreciate Kenan Yildiz as a player. Now, I would still, prefer Nico Paz personally, but it's because of where he's playing and the lack of talent he has around him, and the fact that he is still able to perform at a high level, that I rate him a little bit better. It's not a knock on Kenan. I just think that you have to take that into account when you're talking about these guys. And most of the hate that I've seen has been from Juventini, especially like, I mean, listen, I won't name names, but there is some people who just like they do it just for, to get engagement, and it's like, you're kind of cringe with it, if that's how you really feel. Like, I can respect other young players. I may not like the club, but I can respect the players. And if you're going to like discredit a player of this talent, or this, he is a talented player, but also of this, ability, who looks like he's only going to get better because he's wearing an Inter kit, I think you're kind of being an idiot. And like even Camarda, right? Like, he's a Milan player. He's looked good for Lecce. And I want to see him develop because it's good for our national team. Like, then if you claim to root for Italy, but then you're rooting against like Italian young players to develop, but then say that Italy doesn't develop young players, you're an idiot, in my opinion. Like, I can't take you seriously. But you support the black and white, and people like to think that you all of a sudden are some kind of savant. But whatever.
Yeah. This was an important milestone to get past, his first in Serie A, and hopefully it's the first of many. Let's go to the midfield. The returning son, Nicolo Barella. I tweeted before the match, I thought he was going to be the key player today. I think maybe playing back home gives him a little bit extra. I thought he had a good game. I didn't think he had a spectacular game. Came off in the 64th minute. Where are you at with Nicolo? Because I think the conversation around him is getting a little bit more towards the side of he's not the same player. So A, where are you at with Nicolo? B, do you think a change of role is coming up for him in the near future here?
Look, I still think he's among the best midfielders in the world. I still rate him highly. I think that we are spoiled with the performances that we had with him, with the level that he was playing at day in and day out, 90 minutes, no questions asked, no games missed. Like, I don't know. If you think that it's not going to catch up to you, I don't know what to tell you. It was a good, like you said, not great performance. And if you want great every game, then then we may want to start missing European tournaments and stop playing in Coppa Italia and just focus on the league, because to do it at a high level every game when you're going to play 50, 60 games if you go to a final potentially, or 3 finals for that matter, like I don't know what to say anymore about this. And I'm not just defending him because he's my favorite player on the team. I'm defending him because it's like you could say the same thing about like anyone else. When Bastoni has a good, not great game, is Bastoni regressing? Should he be used less? Like, no, it could just be fatigue. That's all it is. Like, the seasons now are longer than they were 20 years ago. The amount of games that they're playing is more than we were playing 20 years ago. Like,
it's like 20 games more than they were.
And like, I mean, go ahead and listen to Bobo Vieri. He's talked about this, where he knows that his lifestyle would have made his career shorter in today's game. What does that say? Like, do you think Ronaldinho would be performing the way he was now if he had to play this many games per season? No shot. And you could say the same thing about other players, other greats throughout history. It's tougher now, unfortunately. And everyone is faster, bigger, stronger than they were 20, 30 years ago. And I'm not trying to excuse it, but I'm understanding where these guys are coming from and the difficulty that they're having. Barella has not looked terrible any game this season.
No.
He has not looked like, oh man, like he's done, he's finished. But people are talking about him like he is. And it's insane to me. If you play at a 10 out of 10 for that long, of course anything else is going to look bad in some way, shape, or form to you. And I think that it's just that we are spoiled. We have been spoiled. And it's unfortunate. Like, I mean, I think like we would be seeing, if Brozovic was still here, we would be seeing that right now. Because the guy ran for so long and did so much of the dirty work that eventually he would catch up. And especially since his diet is just pizza and cigarettes. Like, there's no way he'd be able to...
to that point, a lot more cigarettes than pizza.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that we need to like really just take a deep breath, understand that this guy is among the elite. I would say top 3. I'd be okay with you saying top 5 midfielders in the world because of everything that he is able to do and the way he's able to perform. And look, if Lautaro doesn't get a piece of that cross that Dimarco sent in, and Nicolo, rips that bicycle in the bottom corner past Caprile, we'd be talking about, oh, he's the greatest player. Oh my gosh, look, like it's just it's just funny to me that this is how we react to him. Like I didn't see anything that I was like, oh man, like this is bad. Like I'm concerned, and I think we need to get with that.
The only thing I see is that like the recurring thought that comes to my head is it would be really nice to get this guy off his feet for a game.
Yes.
And
Yes.
like
Like
we haven't been able to do that. So you're Chivu. You're the Mister. 2 home games coming up against opposition that, I don't even want to say.
we should be able to handle. Yes.
We should be able to handle. You can only one of those games he will sit for the entirety of it.
Slavia Prague. Without a question for me. Slavia Prague. Rest him in the Champions League.
Yeah. I would like to see Sucic as the right Mezzala, Zielinski as the left for this upcoming game.
And you're starting Hakan?
I'm starting Hakan again, yeah.
Okay. I was still going to say Fratesi as the right, Sucic on the left, Zielinski as the regista, but I'm fine with that too. I mean, yeah, either way, I think it's fine. But yeah, rest Barella. Give him 90 minutes off of his feet. Allow him to just have a full week. Because even when we were getting ready for the Juve game, coming out of the international, he played both games. It's not like he had time off on the national team as well. So I want him to be rested. We need him. I don't think people understand how important of a player he is, not just for club but for country as well. And we should want him playing at his best and need him to be well rested to be able to have an impact on both clubs and country.
If you rest him on Tuesday, then it will be 2 straight games of a full week's rest. Because then it'll go... He doesn't play Tuesday, so he plays next Saturday against Cremonese. So a full week's rest. And then the next game we have is the following Saturday against Roma. And I think that's how you do it. He can get these minutes, but it's got to be 7 days rest. And that's how you sort of recuperate him a little bit. So I would go the exact same scenario that you just tossed up here. The other midfielder we haven't gotten to yet, Hakan Calhanoglu, hits the post. My takeaway from this game is that this was the best he looked shielding the defense so far this season.
Agreed.
He was winning those duels in the middle of the pitch. He was fouling. He was getting called for fouls because some of those he had clearly won the ball, but he was getting called for fouls. He completed the most passes in the match. 3 shots, hit the woodwork once. Let me get the duel information real quick. 4 out of 8 ground duels won, so some of those are fouls that shouldn't have been fouls. 12 recoveries. I mean, this was defensively his best game by far.
Yeah, without a question, defensively, this was his best game. I was a little frustrated in the first half. I thought he looked a little lazy with his tracking and his decision-making, but he did get much better throughout the game, and I was very happy with the performance overall. I just want him to not have that slow start and not feel like he could just coast so much early on. I think but hey, maybe he was just trying to ease into it. I don't know. Regardless, great performance, like you said. This was the best he has looked defensively. I wish this would have been the case against Juve because I think we would have come away with 3 points against them, but it is what it is. We pick it up and we move on. And, although I'm still undecided how I feel about having kept him, especially if some of those offers were real from Turkey. But, as long as we have him, I'm going to want him to perform. He has been performing. And it's a shame he didn't get on the score sheet himself because that was a greatly timed shot. And, look, another thing, Barella laid it off for him. I thought Barella was going to come on and rip it. And he did the right play. Laid it off for Hakan, and he could. If he had an assist, would we have been still saying the same thing about Barella too? Probably not. So let's be happy that we have these guys in our squad and are able to lean on them for big minutes, and that they're still able to perform at a high level for us. It's truly a fortunate thing, and Hakan especially this year is going to be crucial considering we don't have a legitimate backup as a regista there. So keeping him healthy, keeping him, in shape and in form is going to be huge for us going forward.
Let's talk about the 3 lefties. Bastoni with an assist, Dimarco with an assist, Carlos Augusto with a yellow card. Who do you want to start with first?
I mean, there's really not much to say about Carlos Augusto. Like, he didn't really touch the ball much, so it's not like we can, say anything. I was okay with him starting.
Any comments about him getting pulled at half with the yellow, or is that something to worry about?
No, I just think that, and again, I don't know what Chivu is thinking. I'm just guessing, but I think that maybe he thought, hey, like, this game's not done and dusted yet. I would rather bring in the guy right now who doesn't have a yellow, who can go forward and maybe provide, a spark of brilliance to be able to get us on the score sheet. And I mean, look how it played out, right? Like, so
yeah,
I'm not going to read too much into it. I don't think it's anything more than just, hey, yeah, you're on a yellow, but we also weren't getting much from you offensively on the left side, and I want to be able to utilize both sides to be able to, to be a threat against Cagliari. So that's all I'm thinking it is.
Part of the calculus also has to be the way that Cagliari was playing was like very easily one of us could have gotten a double yellow. Someone could have gotten a double yellow. Like they were, if they got fouled, they were throwing themselves, and then they would really, really foul you. So I think that was part of the equation. Let's just go to Dimarco real quick. A game-saving potential block, and then the assist. Coming into the season, I think myself included, I was saying, let's get Carlos more starts, which he's been getting so far this season. It's led to kind of a rejuvenated Dimarco, which is a really dangerous proposition for other teams because not only does he no longer look completely gassed, but he's making the most of his, chance creation. Or we're making the most of his chance creating. He's creating good opportunities. And then defensively, after getting within 5 minutes of him being on the pitch, Palestra made him look like a fool. After that, he locked Palestra down.
He did.
He showed him the outside, and he said, "Take it," but that's all you're getting.
And I would say like that's the best he's looked defensively in quite some time as well. Normally things that I would complain about specifically with him is the way that he would back off attackers, give them acres of space, and he definitely played Palestra much closer. There was a time where I believe, Adopo was also coming in, and he played him tight, got him to turn back around and kind of play it back. Him and Bastoni were definitely watching Esposito there when he was making his moves to the outside. But listen, I got to give credit where credit's due. Dimarco looked much more confident in himself as a defender, and I hope that this position battle has really lit a fire under him, and you can see it the way that he's been playing, and even the balls that he was playing that didn't get players on the end of it. Like he played a few that were just venomous across the face of goal that if someone just literally stuck their foot out, and redirected it would have probably gone in the back of the net. But yeah, great 45 minutes from him in the second half there, and there's nothing more I want to say about him.
Yeah. Did you think there was anything to when Lauti got pulled, De Vrij getting the armband and not Bastoni?
I think it was just seniority, like age more so than anything else. To that, I'm not
nothing there.
Not reading into that. Like it's something.
Yeah. Basto was good today. I think he did everything that he could. Again, the way that Cagliari played, there wasn't that much space for him to do much with it. But as far as left center backs go in the world, he's still the most offensive. He's still the one that's contributing more than anybody else. So happy with him. Good for him to get 90 after sitting against the Sassuolo. So the rotation is slowly getting into effect with all these different positions. Including right wing back. We talk about Enrique, generally positive performance. Dumfries comes in, also locked down on that side. Could he have had an assist too? Am I misremembering that? Did he play a ball across that could have gone?
I'm not remembering one.
I don't remember.
Maybe he did. Yeah, I don't, but I don't remember.
But good for him to get some time down. Fratesi comes in, and it's more of the same for him. I don't even mean that like in a negative. It's, he's going to get his opportunities. He was 6 of 7 for passing. So, 86%, pretty good. Had a couple defensive contributions actually, deep in our own half. So, happy with that. And, I don't really know that we're going to have a story on Fratesi until we can see him from the jump. Because in some of these games, it's tough for him to have an impact.
Yeah, no, agreed. Especially when you're going up against a club like a Cagliari, it's going to be hard to really like stamp yourself in this matchup. I feel like you would have to have started it to kind of have made some type of impact, especially going forward against them. And yeah, look, like you said, you kind of know what you're going to get. And we got it, and I'm happy with that. Like it's amazing the 180 that he's been able to perform in his career, especially at Inter. I was a little worried for sure that he was not going to be able to do much and leave a legacy, but he has been great the last couple of years, and I'm very happy with Denzalone.
Let's turn to our coach, because the majority of these listener comments are about our guy Chivu. So let me read them out, and then you tell me what you think. Samuel O'Rourke: we've had a higher XG against all the teams this season except versus Ajax, which is pretty crazy because of that Mika Goetz chance. I think Chivu has done very well. Our losses were unlucky, in my opinion. Magnus Kaufman. That's not about Chivu. Intertwined, best win of the season for me so far. Well managed by Chivu from start to finish. Everyone played hard and did their jobs really well. Yes, that Andre Chivu slowly shaping the team to his ideas. Players seem to have more hunger. I'm really liking what Chivu has done so far. I don't want to get too hyped, but I've loved the rotation. I have no problem with, a kid like Juf not getting minutes yet. Like, let him work into the team. I like the way that the team's fighting. I like the way that they're playing. Like I said, I thought that we've been the better team in every single game this season. I even like some of the calls. I really like some of the calls that he makes as far as his substitutions to change the games. Thuram and Barella coming off there, like he's giving a big opportunity to Fratesi and Pio in that moment, showing a lot of faith in them, and they came through. So I'm really, really enjoying him as our manager. Where are you at with Mr. Cristian Chivu?
I just got one thing I don't like. I hate the way he dresses. He looks so unprofessional and like it just looks very childish.
But picture him in a suit.
I can picture it.
I don't know if that looks any better.
I think
he's
it
a
does.
suit guy.
I don't care if you're not a suit guy. I think you need to wear a suit, bro. You're managing.
Your dad dresses him, you think?
I wish he would. If they didn't have this deal with Canali, my father probably would dress him. But it's that's my only thing. Like, he's wearing a polo and joggers. Like,
he wants to be out there. You could tell.
I don't even know if that's it. I just think he likes to be comfortable. Like, I just think he just doesn't. And I get it. Look, I hate wearing suits, but if I was managing Inter, you better believe I'd be, rocking a suit. Maybe I would do the Nagelsmann thing where I wear some dark sneakers with the suit that you can't really tell that I'm in kicks, but I'm rocking a suit. So that's
John
my only
Wick, all black.
All black, bro. Like you're going to somebody's funeral. And it's usually the other squad, but other than that, I've liked it. I knew it was going to take time. I wasn't like some other people who claim to be, Interisti, who were, saying doom and gloom and that the sky is going to be falling with Chivu. I knew it was going to take time. I thought with the 5-0 win to start the season that we were jump starting it, but obviously we saw that turned in the next game. But it's slowly, like everyone has commented, that it's slowly starting to take shape, and his identity is starting to be implanted on these players, and that they're starting to honestly play with less rigidity. Like, it feels like there's a lot more freedom. Like, the shackles are off. Like, you're able to move and interchange positions and kind of cover for one another. And if there's space to take it. And if you're, as long as your team is being responsible and filling the space that you're leaving, you kind of have that freedom. And I like it. And it feels like they're having fun. I know it's a silly thing to say, but like, this is a game at the end of the day. Like, yes, like our listeners, the fans, like, we live and die with this team. Like, this means a lot to us because it's what our families were watching and growing up, and what they instilled in us, and kind of like the love for it. And at the end of the day, it's just a game, though. And if you're not having fun out there and you're literally treating it like just a job, you're not going to be able to perform, because eventually, like, work becomes redundant and you just don't have the love for it. So to see them playing at this way, and just the camaraderie that you see amongst the team, all these guys support one another. The new guys who come in, they look to be welcomed with open arms, whether it is, Sucic, Enrique, Boni, Esposito, like all of them. Like, and even like if you saw at the end, they were all going up to Seba, giving him a big hug, like, sharing some jokes, and like, so they all care. They all genuinely care, and like, it's great to see. And yeah, I love what he's doing. I hope that we continue to go in this upward trajectory, and he continue to instill his ideas throughout the squad, and that we're able to keep rattling off wins, because that's all we want at the end of the day. So
yeah, and then it also, like, the gung-ho, get the ball forward, play this like crazy high line. It is, in hindsight, it is a bit naive, right? And he has made the adjustments as these games have gone on. And I think Inter has also managed moments in the games really well. Like, they're picking their spots to go with the super aggressive high line. They're picking their spots to sit in the low block. They're just showing a bit more maturity, and you have to give credit to Chivu there. Last thing, just to wrap up this discussion here. Midweek, a video comes out of training at Appiano Gentile, and somebody had said from the crowd, had said to Lautaro, like, oh, good goal in training, now do it on Sunday. And Chivu lashed out at him. Like, he basically said, like, these guys are working, we're working to get better, don't say shit like, let's see it on Sunday, or you can go take a walk down to Milanello. And the fans that were watching training were clapping, and he showed some, like, don't talk shit to my guys, we're working right now. And I loved it. Some people thought it was too much, and like, oh, that he's losing it, whatever. I didn't see it like that at all.
Same.
Someone shouted that Lauti can obviously hear, oh, do it on Sunday. And maybe he's got it in the back of his mind, like, he really needs to get on the score sheet. And I like my coach telling that guy to go take a fucking walk. I really do. What did you think of that viral Chivu exchange?
Yeah, I'm glad you brought it up, because I did forget about it. But I agree with you 100%. I want my manager backing his players and being in their corner. Look, I'm not going to take a shot here at Inzaghi, but I feel like he wouldn't have done the same thing. I think that he would have just, kept going with practice. Like, hey, don't say anything. Like, no. It shows that you have your players' backs. I'm sure it means something to the player. I'm sure Lauti loved it. He may not have said anything or voiced anything about it, but I'm sure when they talk privately, like, hey, I'm always gonna have your back, whatever it is, and that's what you want to see. Like, you want to see that your coach is in your corner. You want to see that he will speak up, that he won't just allow the media or the people or whoever to say what they want and think that it's okay. That that you could just walk all over us. And I don't think anybody would really want that, even as us as fans. I think I would say maybe 85% of the people there probably loved that he did that, and the other ones were probably oh, he shouldn't be doing that, whatever.
There are people who think that they can just say whatever they want to professionals that are working at their job.
Yeah, I mean,
like animals in cages that they look at these players.
exactly. Like, I mean, listen, I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I haven't said and yelled things at players that I didn't like, or, teams I didn't like. But, at the end of the day, like, if somebody, snapped back at me, or, I would be like, all right, yeah, fair play. Like, like it was deserved. That we should be kept in check is what I'm trying to say. So otherwise, at what point does it happen? Like, are they allowed to just start throwing stuff at the players during training when they don't like what they're doing or whatever? So it's good that he did that. I'm glad that he kind of just nipped it in the butt real quick, and we're able to move on.
And I really specifically liked the words that he used. Like, he said, we're professionals that are here working, and we're working to try to get better. He said, migliorare, like, we're working to get better. And that's just like a great message for any of the players who were on the training pitch, to hear him like voice that out loud to the fans, where it's like, this is my job. Like, I'm working to be the best that I could be, and for this team to be the best that it could be. Yeah, I'm full on behind Chivu, and I don't remember feeling like this badly of wanting to see someone succeed at Inter, and I really want it for him. Capello's come out and said, he's got what it takes. Spalletti came out and said he's got what it takes. Materazzi, former players, they're all saying like he's got what it takes, and I want it so bad for him. I really do.
Not same.
All right, Johnny. I don't have much more on this. Played Saturday, so that would mean our Champions League game is Tuesday. You got anything else you want to cover before we dip on out of here?
No. I think that pretty much summed it all up. I'm glad we got to cover that specifically, the interaction between Chivu and the fan, and yeah, that's pretty much it.
Closing in on getting back to where we need to be after a rough start to the season. Inter beats Cagliari 2-0. 2 straight in the league, 3 straight on the bounce. Let's bring it into San Siro on Tuesday against Slavia Prague in the Champions League. In the words of the great Roberto Scarpini, Forza ragazzi, forza ragazzi, forza ragazzi.